Lesson 5.3.2 Proving Triangle Congruence Theorems ASA, SAS, and SSS continues. In this video, we will be creating a flowchart proof for the angle side angle theorem. Vocabulary: angle side angle theorem, ASA, states if two angles and the included side of a triangle are congruent to the corresponding two angles and included side of a second triangle, then the triangles are congruent. And what included side means is the side between two angles of a triangle. So a couple things you need to make sure you know is that when you see on triangles a little curve between an angle, between two lines for the angle, those imply that those two angles are congruent. Okay. Okay. If you see a single line crossing one of the lines, that implies that those sides are congruent. Okay, so these angles are congruent, these sides. And so then if you have two angles like this and a side between it, that is what we're talking about as for angle side angle. Okay, determine if the two triangles are necessarily congruent. If so, fill in a flowchart proof to prove that they are. Okay, so looking at the two triangles here, we have this angle and that angle are congruent. We have angle C and angle F are congruent, and we have that this whole side here and this whole side there are congruent. So we can say that the triangles are necessarily congruent. For my first reasoning, I would say angle B is congruent to angle E. I would say that not AC, I would say that BC is congruent to EF. The order of the letters is important. So BC, B had the single congruent mark and C had the double congruent mark. So when I look at the other triangle, E has the single congruent mark, so it has to be first, and F has the double congruent mark. So the only thing we haven't stated is that angle angle E, nope, angle C is congruent to angle F. So we state all of the congruent things that we see inside our figure, and because we have an angle with a side then an angle, we have angle side angle, and that is the reasoning for why triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. So I would like you to try number 4 on your own, and then use the video to check to see how you did. Okay, so hopefully you said that they are necessarily congruent, that angle B is congruent to angle Y, side side BA is congruent to side YX, and angle A is congruent to angle X, which then lets us say that the triangles are congruent to each other, and that the reasoning would be that we have angle, side, angle. And with that, that's how we determine if the two triangles are necessarily congruent and write a flowchart proof to prove that they are.